Okay, it's time for a little story time. Now, I'm always on the lookout for my next idea for a new play or musical, and about a month ago, I stumbled across an idea that I thought was pretty brilliant, and I was very excited about it. I started to think, what if there was a retelling of A Christmas Carol, except it takes place today? And we kind of see what the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future were up to. And maybe we could see how they were doing at their job. Were they still successful at converting Scrooges? And I just thought this could be a really fun idea and have it be one of those feel good Christmas musicals that, would be popular and a lot of people would love it. So I started to plan out my research. I began to read A Christmas Carol and I had a whole list of film adaptations of Christmas Carol that I wanted to watch to see how other people have interpreted these three ghosts. And I was really, really looking forward to this because it's been a while since I've had that initial project excitement. So yeah, I was just so ready to have this as my 2023 new project. And then I get a text from a friend saying, "Hey, have you seen Spirited on Apple TV?" Now, I had seen ads for Spirited and it showed Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell, and I would look at that ad and be like, I don't think I want to watch that movie. So I was aware that it existed, but I didn't think it had anything to do with me. But when I actually went and watched the trailer, lo and behold, it is a musical adaptation of A Christmas Carol in contemporary times following the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. I, of course, was very bummed by this realization that this story idea that I had that sounded so fresh and new. And I was even asking around, I was asking people, have they heard of something like this? And a couple of friends were like, no, that sounds brilliant. I would watch that. Well, it's on Apple TV if you want to watch it. But I just felt kind of deflated because I had built up so much excitement. I had built up a plan around doing this as, like I said, my new project for 2023, and I kind of had to just stop it in its tracks and let it go. So I did kind of get into a little bit of a funk while I was feeling bummed about it. But then as I was kind of journaling and sitting with those feelings, these words came to my brain and they were fail quickly. And this is a concept that I had learned from a book, Creativity Inc., specifically, by former Pixar president Ed Catmull. And in this book, there's a whole chapter about failure. An analogy that he uses in the book is, imagine if you were a general leading an army and you know that the enemy is behind one of two hills. Now, you don't know which hill the enemy is hiding behind, so what's the best strategy? And he argues the best strategy is to choose a hill and storm it as quickly as possible so you find out whether the enemy's behind it or not. And then if you realize the enemy is not there, then storm the other hill as quickly as possible. The idea being that if you storm one of the hills, even if it ends up being the wrong hill, it puts you in a position of agency and preparedness so that you're ready to storm the other hill. Or if you want to keep the analogy going, if the enemy starts coming from the other hill that you didn't go behind, you're still in a position of agency to take them head on. I don't know, maybe you're not supposed to take the analogy that far. Now, it's not like I failed in this situation, but I definitely came to a dead end with this exciting new idea. And so it did feel like a bit of a failure. It was a failure of an idea, right? This isn't something that I need to beat myself up about, but those words fail quickly coming to me in my low moment as I was kind of in the aftermath of realizing this idea had gone away. They did bring some level of comfort. It did help me kind of assess, well, okay, at least I found out so early in the process that I'm not like 2 years into writing the thing and it's almost done. And then I learn that some major corporation has released a film version of it. At least I haven't spent too much time with the research part of things. I was only partway through Dickens's A Christmas Carol, and I may finish it because why not actually read this thing that everybody talks about and puts on their stages? So while there was a bit of like grieving over losing that excitement of a new project that seemed really promising, there was also a realization of, well, I'm thankful that I learned this when I did. And I did learn from going down that path, because what I was getting excited about was writing a magical story, realizing that I wanted to just tell something that was feel good, that made people feel uplifted. And so I might take that with me into whatever project I come up with next. So rather than only viewing this as a dead end project, I can actually turn it around and be thankful for the things that I've learned from it, and be thankful that it happened as early as it did so that I can shift and pivot to whatever might be next. Of course, leaving space for the emotions that I was feeling and still kind of am, but also realizing like this is the creative process. When you pursue creative endeavors, you are going to find roadblock after roadblock. You're going to find failure after failure. You're going to find your successes and your wins too, but to know that it all flows together as part of your creative journey. So I just wanted to share that if any of you are facing some kind of failure or obstacle or roadblock, I hope that you're encouraged to know that, first of all, you're not alone, that you are on your way, and that whatever you're facing doesn't have to be the end. It might just be a chance for you to shift and to go closer in the direction that you are meant to go. And I'm curious, how do you deal with failure or dead ends? Does thinking about failing quickly actually help you? Maybe it actually makes it worse for you. I don't know. What strategies, coping mechanisms do you have that you utilize when you find that you're hitting a wall? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments down below. And as we head into the holiday season, I wish you all the very best for the ending of 2022 and a happy new year for all the amazing things that are to come in 2023. Stay safe, stay creative, and I will see you in the next video.